I mean, anybody who stays in this business long enough, you've got to keep growing as a coach too, and that's another lesson that I know, tries to get conveyed to the kids a lot is, not only are we asking you guys to do things to get better, but we as coaches have to do things to make ourselves better as well.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
and
I mean,
we have,
we're all lifelong learners.
and Coach Stoll had me on the other night. Kansas Baseball Coaches Association still meets weekly. Got a chance to listen to guys talk about hitting and different parts of that. And anytime you get a group of coaches, guys together, even the questions that you just hear, not even the presenters, but the questions, provide that room for growth that's outstanding. So Coach Stoll's done a great job with that as well.
Yeah, and I know Coach Gordon, I know you do a lot with Coach Hoover, just talking about different throwing mechanics and, kind of the difference in how you want your guys to throw the baseball on the hill versus, how he wants his quarterbacks to be able to throw the ball. And, I mean, I know that's one way you kind of bounce ideas off of, another guy and learn some things that way too.
Yeah, we sit around, we talk a lot about the kinetic chain, the differences and the similarities between the football athlete and a high school pitcher. He thinks it comes down to a lot of hitting. Coach Stoll, you might have to get in on that conversation at some point, talking quarterback mechanics with relationship to hitters' feet is what he always talks about. And it's kind of an interesting thing right there to hear how the two work together. But yeah, it's always it's definitely a part of I miss right now. Other than being outside when it's just nice, playing baseball, the conversations that are not taking place is pretty tough.
Yeah, Coach Stoll, you got anything to add there about those hitting mechanics?
Yeah, it's and like Coach alluded to. I mean, if you're in a good athletic position to throw the ball, you're probably going to be in a good athletic position to swing the bat. And there's a lot of things that are similar. I've actually seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and in clinics where quarterbacks will do a lot of the arm care things that pitchers do to get their arm in shape because they're throwing. In practice, you figure they're throwing as many times as a guy would during a baseball game. So, I think it all comes back to with high school kids, we have so many dual sport guys. I mean, I know Coach Gordon's got a bunch of football, baseball guys. We've got a ton of football, baseball guys. So I think the athleticism helps across the board for sure.
Yeah, one big kind of football, baseball guy that you have that I'm excited to talk about is Mr. Dev Neal out there, who, kind of I didn't know a lot about before last football season, but, he had a tremendous football season last year for you guys. And from talking to Coach Gordon, sounds like he's an even better baseball player than he was on the football field.
Yeah, he's one of the more dynamic young men I've been around. And I've had the luxury of my son, Jack, who is a junior at Lawrence High. They were randomly put on a kindergarten biddy basketball team years ago. So we've been family friends, and I've had an opportunity to watch him grow up. And he's an incredible athlete. He's very strong. He's very, 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 very quick. And he's got probably the best high school bat speed I've ever been around. But he's well respected. He's a good teammate, and he's a joy to coach. And I really miss being on the field with that kid. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and he is committed to KU. I believe he's going to play both football and baseball over there, right?
Yeah, yep. He had an opportunity to do that, and I know Nebraska, K-State, I talked to him about doing the same. I know Oklahoma State was interested in having him do the same. So that shows you what kind of athlete he is, but also what kind of person he is if he can pull that off and still be a student,
Yeah, you don't hear at the Division I level, at least, you don't hear of a lot of those guys that they'll say, yeah, you can come here and be a dual sport athlete. So I think that does speak a lot about him and what he can do to help them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I had a chance. Went down to Oklahoma last year for the Kansas. We took Kansas group of select all-star team down there, and that's where I first got to see Devin outside of Chesty Lions uniform. And you talk about just a guy that lights up the room with a smile, personality. You know, you go down to those things in an all-star team, you have 15, 20 different guys down there, and it's a short turnaround time. I mean, he made it feel like instantly there's a connection with the other 14, 15 guys that were there. He has that kind of personality that draws people in. And then you watch him swing the bat, and it's even more impressive when he does those things. Just that kind of raw athleticism that he has on the baseball field, and watching him run the bases and the event that they had there. I mean, he's incredibly fast, and I got a chance to see how tough he was on the football field. Can't say enough good things about him. Wish he lived in 66205 area code, but that's a different deal.
Yeah, the football coach in me, you know, especially since I'm focusing on our defense and having to defend a kid like that, you know, he's definitely a guy that I wish was in the Shawnee Mission East area, and instead of defending him, I was just working with him every day.
Yeah, as long as you guys, as long as he stays here, I'm totally fine with this right now.
Hey, how's your shortstop?
Good. We had about a 45-minute conversation about swing mechanics yesterday over the phone, and you know, he's another kid signed with Missouri State, and just, you know, he called and wanted to know what he needed to do to get better, and you know, just a awesome attitude to have, and you don't find that, you know, the kid that's just constantly working all the time, even during all this, you know, he's always trying to find a place to practice and throw and take ground balls and hit, and you know, he's a very talented young man.
Yeah, how many guys did you have, Coach Stoll, that were seniors out of your 7 that were going to be able to play at the next level?
So we have 3 that are committed, and unfortunately one young man who was going to play some outfield was still trying to find a place to play, which, you know, it's a difficult situation for him. Hopefully there's going to be some opportunities for him to get on the field at some point this summer and can get himself in front of some college coaches. But we got our catcher's going to go play at Fort Scott for another former Chesty Lion. Another kid's going to go pitch down at Northeast Texas Community College. And then we've got a first baseman right-hander that is going to go to Baker, and then a second baseman's going to go to Tabor. So four boys that have found have a place to play, and one kid still trying to find a spot.
Yeah, that's you know, and I don't know, maybe a question for both of you guys. Have you done much research or heard much about how the NCAA, because they're giving that extra year of eligibility to their seniors, so is that going to impact any of the freshmen that were coming in for spring sports?
You know, to me, everything I've seen seems to be a college-by-college basis, whether or not they're going to honor those scholarships that each school is taking a different approach. I think this is going to end up being more of a 5-year issue than a 1-year issue with the way the money works and things like that. I know the transfer portal has been busy, seeing guys move from program to program, going to get their masters and things like that. But it might be hardest on the JUCO guys, and I think it's pushing guys to JUCO before that. So,
well, I think the schools that have a chance to win titles are the ones it's really going to affect, don't you?
Yeah. But you look at Boise State, their entire staff got furloughed the other day.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Man.
That's crazy.
Oh, my goodness, I had not seen that.
Yep.
Mm. Yeah, you know, to speak to this whole piece, you know, with having a son that's a junior and trying to get the recruiting thing started, and you know, and facilitate that and help him navigate through it. So a lot of college coaches I've talked to said that, you know, the class of 2021 is the one that's going to be affected the most, or about as the most as any class, because they're going to come in with everybody ahead of them that still has a full year essentially to play, you know, so they're going to be kind of backloaded behind a bunch of kids. So the 2020s and the 2021s are you know, there's an uphill climb, so to speak. But kids like, you know, to me, it's the kid that's the walk-on, or it's the kid that's on the minimal scholarship that has already been receiving the Dear John letters, so to speak. Hey, you got to find another place to play. So then it's just a domino effect. It affects the Division twos, the Division threes, the JUCOs. So, but I think Coach Gordon can attest to this, that if kids want to play bad enough, there's somewhere for them. It may cost a little bit of money for the family with us being not a fully funded sport, but there's ways to make it work. You just got to be a little bit more creative now.
Yeah, there's definitely a place to play baseball in America if you're going to play college baseball, that's for sure. So kids might just have to realign what they're thinking of where they're going and go from there. But, yeah, there's always going to be a place if they won't play bad now.
Which one of you said you coached in the Cape Cod League?
Coach Stoll.
I was up there.
Come on over to the Mink League. We broadcast. Over the years, we've done a lot of broadcasts throughout the Mink League. We do St. Joe and
cool.
Jeff City, and we did do Springfield. Springfield lost their team this year, but we'd love to have you over in the Mink League. And also, do you know Wally Marcial?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Wally.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a great human being. Great human being.
I worked with him when he was up at Chillicothe. So
sure, yeah. Yeah. No,
tell him I said hi, Jim Bly.
I will. Yeah, we talk quite a bit. He's a beautiful soul. He's a good man.
And a daddy now.
Did you guys see the Cape canceled?
Yeah. Yeah, they banged it like at noon on last Friday. That was That was the right thing to do. It broke a lot of hearts, but it was the right thing to do. Massachusetts is getting crushed right now with this thing, and now you're talking about host families bringing in kids, and that was from what the people that I still talk to in the town that I coached. It was the host families that were saying, "Hey, we're not taking kids this summer," and I don't blame them.
Yeah, and that's what I've kind of said. That's going to be the determining factor is the host families, and that's going to be the determining factor, I think, with the T-Bones as well. So it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you think about it. We all have families, and if they said, "Hey, can you take a kid from wherever, Seattle or Dallas, Texas, and take him in your home for 2.5 months?" I mean, that's it. He may be asymptomatic, and then all of a sudden he gets sick, and then your whole family's. It's just the liability piece to me was pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, and at that level of baseball, unfortunately, that's how it has to work. And so I'm kind of with you there, Coach Stoll, as far as having a family myself and, thinking, would I really want to take someone in right now, even though they're not showing any symptoms now, but the risk, down the line, just, not worth it right now.
No.
But, it's an exciting time, and we were talking a little bit about, the college recruiting and everything, and, you guys mentioned that there's somewhere for anybody who really wants to play baseball, at the next level, and I think that is a message, too, that kids today need to hear, because especially in football, you see it a lot. These kids think, well, if I don't go to Division I college, if I don't go to KU or MU or K-State or Oklahoma, or Alabama, then why should I go play, And if you love the game, go play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you love it, you want a chance to go play, you gotta go play. I think sometimes we gotta look at the financial aspect of different family situations and things like that. But if you want to take out student loans, still be paying them like I am, have a great time at a 4-year Division II university, make lifelong friends that you FaceTime with during quarantine, and that's what you do. We got together the other day and talked about old baseball stories, and that's kind of what we still do during this time.
Yeah, 100% echo that. I think you got to look at it. I always tell our parents in our parent meeting that even and I think Coach Gordon can attest to this. Even the best players we've had in our programs, the families are still on the hook for anywhere from 40 to 60% of the scholarship, because it's just not a fully funded sport. So you're going to have to pay for something. If your academics can help you get into a good school, or if playing baseball can help you get into a really good academic school set you for life and open some doors, then do it. And like